Congratulations, you started a podcast. You're putting it in the work. You're building an audience. You're building a brand. But I'm willing to bet that you're making at least one of these 3 legal mistakes right now and that you're exposed. And if you don't fix them, someone else is going to benefit from your hard work and everything you built. I'm Karam Nahas. I'm the 20-year battle-tested lawyer, former litigator. So today I'm going to show you the 3 biggest legal mistakes that podcasters make and how to fix them. But before we jump in, I have a free personalized legal risk analysis of your business, literally for free. It's 5 minutes. It's a $7,500 value. The link is in the description below. I'll mention it again at the end, but let's jump right into it. Mistake number 1, you don't understand ownership. You may not even own your own content. And I'm going to get there. And this is really important because this is a danger zone that all entrepreneurs play in. Most podcasters think that because they created the show, they own it. But you got to understand how the law works. And you got to really look at definitions. Now, your podcast is actually 3 separate assets: the recordings, the RSS feed, and your name and likeness. Now, each one can be owned by a different party. And in most production deals, the company writing the checks, they own all 3 by default. They're making the investment. So let's start with the recordings. In almost every production deal, the entity paying for the show owns the recordings. They're making the investment, like I said. So what most creators don't think about is what happens when the show ends, or what happens when there's some bad vibes going on. Now, if the production company decides not to do season 2, do you have the right to keep making your own show? Now, that could be a tricky issue. Can you take those season 1 recordings with you? Can you buy them back? What does your contract say? If your contract doesn't address this, the answer is simple. It's no, they own it. You walk away with nothing, 0. Now, the RSS feed, this one kills people. Your RSS feed is your audience. That's who you are. It's every subscriber, every loyal listener. It's your client book. If a production company owns your RSS feed and you leave, they can drop a completely different show into your feed. You get it? They slide into your feed and they make money. Your audience, someone else's content. Completely legal if the contract says so. And your name and likeness, who controls how you're used in promotion? Remember, they own the recordings, so can they use your face and name to promote other shows on their platform? What does your contract say? Can they use your image in advertising for other products? I don't know. I'd have to look at your contract, because if your contract doesn't spell this out, they probably can, and you probably got screwed. So here's the rule. Ownership of the podcast is not the same as ownership of every asset within that podcast, inside the podcast. Get specific about each one separately. The recordings, the RSS feed, the name and likeness, that's your brand. Each one negotiated. Each one be clear in your contract. If your contract just says the company owns the podcast, that is not enough detail. And that vagueness will cost you everything. It'll drag you through hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of litigation. Ambiguity and vagueness will kill you. And that comes to mistake number 2. Like I said, vague contracts, ambiguity always gets interpreted against you. You're the professional. This is the mistake that destroys creators, it destroys entrepreneurs, anyone, coaches, consultants who think they have a good deal. Your contract says you'll get 50% of podcast revenue. What does that mean, though? Sounds fair, sounds clear. Is it? 50% of what? What's revenue? Advertising only, advertising plus events, merchandise, licensing deals, film and TV, adaptations. How are you calculating revenue or income, whatever? So here's what could happen. Your show blows up. A major platform calls. $1 million deal for the rights. You get 0 because your contract said 50% of podcast revenue. And a licensing deal, that's not podcast revenue. That's what I mean. How do you define revenue? It's a different bucket entirely. Or how about this one? You negotiated 50% of ad revenue, then the platform puts your show behind a paywall. No more ads. Your 50% of nothing is exactly that. It's nothing. So it's very important to understand definitions and get rid of ambiguity, because ambiguity in contracts, it'll kill you. It's not always that someone is trying to cheat you. Sometimes the language is just not specific enough. And you're not going to get any courtesies in court because the obligation's on you. In contract law, vague language gets interpreted against the person who drafted the contract. It's called presumption against the drafter. You got to be really careful with contracts that you draft and the contracts that you understand, because ambiguity is what makes lawyers a living. That's why you have litigation. So the fix here is to define every revenue stream by name: advertising, events, merchandise, derivatives, licensing, film, TV. Definitions are great in legal contracts. Make sure your percentage follows the money wherever it goes too. If the business model changes, your compensation structure has to change with it. Like, there's a lot of things baked into these contracts. If you found that valuable, hit subscribe. I've been in court. I've dealt with hundreds of contracts. I know how judges think, and I break down legal mistakes like this every week so you can learn from others and not the hard way. Now, mistake number 3 is you don't understand IP, intellectual property, specifically music licensing. Most podcasters think if they buy a song or they find royalty-free music, they're covered. They can use it. They're not, though. In a podcast, you need 2 separate licenses. You need a master recording license. That's the rights to the actual recorded version of the song. Then you also need a sync license. That's the rights to synchronize the music with your content. You get it? Those are 2 different licenses, and they're 2 different rights. And most podcasters don't have rights to either of those. So if you're delivering to a major platform, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, they'll audit your music rights, and one missing license and your episode could go down. Or worse, a copyright claim wipes out monetization across your entire catalog. And let's say they blacklist you because of that. Now pay attention, because music is just one piece of the IP problem. IP, I mean the intellectual property, the bigger picture. Every piece of content you use in your podcast that you didn't create yourself, the clips, the interviews, archival footage, quotes, third-party research, all that stuff has an IP question attached to it. Who owns it? Do you have a right to use it? Are you relying on fair use? And if you are, is your use actually transformative enough to qualify? Have you papered up ownership with any of these people? Fair use is a defense. It's not a right. And it gets decided in court after someone has already sued you. And you got to understand that. So the fix here is to budget for cleared music. Keep it simple. Stay out of the music stuff. It gets tricky. Like, document every license. And before you use any third-party content, ask the question, do I have the right to use this? Talk about inversion all the time. If you're not sure, get it cleared before you publish, or actually don't use it at all. And one more thing on IP that most podcasters completely ignore, and trust me, you should see a lawyer before you do anything with your podcast. If you're using AI to generate any part of your podcast, the scripts, the voice, the music, the editing, the Copyright Office currently does not protect AI-generated content, which means if somebody copies your AI-generated content, you might not have any legal recourse whatsoever. And production companies, that's what they do. They copy each other. And they're now inserting AI clauses into agreements that give them the right to replicate your voice for future seasons without you, to use your content, use your brand without you. So read every AI clause before you sign it. If there isn't one, add one that protects you. I can help you with that. Hit me up. It's not a big deal. I have a free gift for you. So I put together the Podcaster's Legal Checklist. It's the top 10 legal things every creator needs to know before they sign anything, drop another episode, do their podcast, whatever. It covers everything we just talked about and more. It's free. The link's in the description below. I want to see your podcast a success. And if you're building something real, you've got a business, not just a podcast, but you've got revenue, you've got a brand, a platform. I want to make sure you're legally protected. Get your free personalized legal risk analysis built by me, the 20-year battle-tested lawyer. It's specific to your situation. It's 5 minutes. Again, it's completely free. The link is in the description below. If you want to go deeper, join the Business Defense Academy. I give you training, tools, and guidance from me in your corner literally every month. It's cheaper than a gym membership. The link is also below. Defense wins championships. I'm Karam Nahas. Your job is to stay legally bulletproof.